Okay, hi guys, this is going to be the makeup routine for our competition makeup. Okay, before I start my makeup, I always go in with primer. I recommend to use just a primer in general. It doesn't really matter which one, just so your makeup stays on throughout the whole time. I use this Refy one, but it really doesn't matter which one. Okay, and then while I let that sit, I do my eyeshadow first. It's always best to do your eyeshadow in case you mess up, because then you don't have to go back and touch up your makeup. But, to make my eyeshadow have a good straight line, I just take a piece of tape and I go like this just to keep it straight, and it's easy to just take off and it just looks better. Okay, before I go in with eyeshadow, I always prep it. You can literally just use concealer. I'm using this eye prep set from Makeup by Mario, but it's the same thing. It's just using concealer, and I just put it all over my lids and even at the top where my eyebrows are. Okay, this is the eyeshadow palette I use. I have no idea where I got this from, but you kind of want to use this color scheme just so you have everything within one palette. I think this one's great. Okay, and I start with the lightest shades, I mix, and I kind of just put that on all over just to get a good base color. I also recommend using a thicker brush because I feel it just blends easier and it's a lot faster to get on than a skinny one. Okay, so then I use this medium-ish gray, and I start in the middle, and I just slowly work my way over like this, just making sure it's really blended in. Okay, this is the trickiest part of it. You want to make sure that your black is really dark. It needs to be a really dark black, and I slowly just go in like this and just keep doing that until it's blended consistently and it's the right color. Okay, it's just slowly go in with this color and blend it. Okay, and then once I'm done with it looking like this, I kind of just go back over with these light colors that I started with for the inner corner of my crease, just so it makes the blending effect. Okay, this step I really think makes the look. You don't have to get this for right now, but I definitely recommend getting this in the future. It was from Target. It was maybe $6. It's Physicians Formula Butter Highlight in the shade Champagne. It's kind of rubbed off, but this is what it looks like. And then this is what the inside looks like. It's really pretty. And I normally just take my finger and I put it on the inner corners like this. And I just keep doing that until it gives that effect that I want. It's gold. And I'm going to bring this to regionals and to the showcase for everyone to use. Okay, so then it should kind of look like this. And then I just take a really skinny brush and I just kind of blend it in a little bit throughout. Like that. Okay, and then before I take the tape off, I go ahead and do my eyeliner just because I feel it's easier to just get that straight line. And it doesn't matter what color, or it does matter what color. It doesn't matter what eyeliner you use. Okay, and then it should look like this. It should go up the same amount to where your eyeshadow ends, if that makes any sense. Okay, and this is why I love the tape, because I did mess up, as you can see. And then I just go in with a makeup wipe and just remove all that excess. Okay, and then after that's off, another thing that I like to do is I go in with this and I make a really thin line, and I just trace the very top of this to make the edge smooth. Okay, and then here's a close-up of the eyes. It doesn't have to be perfect because we are going to put lashes on, so if you mess up, don't stress out, it's fine. Okay, and then you're going to want to go in with a thick foundation. This is what I use. Totally optional, up to you, whatever you like. This is how much I use, just because I feel it makes it blend all nicely together. Okay, and then I go in with a brush. It doesn't really matter. You could use a beauty blender or a brush. I just like a brush more because I feel it doesn't absorb as much product as a beauty blender would. Okay, and then after that, I go in with a pretty thick amount of concealer. I put it in my under eyes right here just so it really brightens it up. And then I also like to make a little bit of a line so it makes it even more defined where the eyeliner is. Okay, and this next step I think is the most important. I really think it brings your makeup together because right now I'm the exact same color. I use a contour stick. You can use really whatever, but I put it a thick amount just so it really shows up on stage. And then I do it my jawline. So these are the places I recommend you put your contour. And then once again, I use a brush just because I feel it doesn't absorb as much as a beauty blender. Okay, I just feel like it brings a lot more color to my face and I look less scary like. Okay, then this next part is definitely super important too. You need a lot of blush. I go in with a liquid blush. Right now, I just use this one from Patrick Ta, but you can use whatever you want. And I put a lot on there. Okay, and it looks crazy now, but I'm going to go in with powder and stuff, so it's not going to look like this. But I put a lot on because obviously when you're on the stage, you can't see as much, and it really just brings it all out. Okay, and then I also feel like this next step is really important because it like sets your whole face. I use this setting spray. You can use any setting spray really, and I just lather it up there. Okay, and then while that's drying, I go in with a translucent setting powder, and I kind of just put it in all the places that I could look oily or just too shiny, and it also keeps my makeup in place. So I put it here under my eyes. I put it right here in between my eyebrows, and then I put it on my chin and on my nose creases. And obviously we want our makeup to stay on all day because we are dancing a lot and sweating, and I feel like this is the best way to make it stay on. Okay, and then after that I go in with a bronzer. It doesn't matter what bronzer, and I use a really big brush, and I kind of just go over all the places that I put my contour at, just so it helps me look different colors. Okay, and then next I go in with blush again because as you can see my blush like almost completely disappeared. But I use the same thing. This is just like a powder form, and I feel like liquid then powder is the best to make your makeup stay on. Okay, I know I look crazy with all this blush on, but it really is a huge factor. Okay, and then next I go in with highlighter. I just use the same highlighter that I used on my lids, and this is also really important because it brings out our, I don't know what I'm saying. You know why highlighter is important. And then I kind of just put it here and then on my nose. Okay, and then once all that's done, once again, I go in with setting spray. I use a different one just because I feel like this one is better for after, but you can do whatever. Okay, and then the last step before we do lips is your eyelashes. What I like to do is I go in and I curl my lashes before I put the lashes on. Okay, so I actually don't have any lash strips with me right now. I need to go buy some. But, I mean, if you need help with your lashes, I can always help you with them, or anyone else on the team can help you with them. So, yeah, that's the makeup routine. If you have any questions, just text me. I will help you with anything. Bye.